take something and grab one and go turn it on. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Meyer. I'm a member of the Elgin OCTAVE board. I'd like to thank you all for coming, audience members and candidates. Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time out of your Saturday evening to come and hear what the candidates for Elgin City Council have to say. The Elgin OCTAVE is an organization that has a focus on trying to bring some transparency to Elgin municipal governance, and we're advocating as an organization for lower taxes and fiscal responsibility in municipal government. We are not a political action committee. We are not affiliated with any candidates committee, but that's our core philosophy and what we've tried to do over the last couple of years. And we're excited tonight to be able to host this forum, and we're very grateful for everyone who's come to participate. A couple of comments just before we get started. There's been some concern, I think, as to the format that we selected, and we want to clarify that our format was not dictated to us by any person or any organization or group. It was content neutral and is content neutral. The opportunity that we're affording candidates as far as time for responses or the questionnaire was completely content neutral. It's not. We haven't decided that based on response to the candidate's philosophy that we're going to afford them one benefit over another. Every candidate had the same opportunity to participate in the time or to complete our questionnaire in advance of the form, and I hope that everybody's had an opportunity to receive a copy of that candidate questionnaire, the summary response sheet. If not, they're on the table outside. It's unfortunate that some candidates for council have decided not to participate in our forum or to complete the questionnaire. That's their choice. But we do want to encourage you to actively seek out those candidates, to ask some questions about the issues that are important to you, and for candidates who are currently members of the council. Obviously there's a voting record that's available, and you can see how they've voted over the last couple of years, like Councilman Elgin Dunn, for example, who are not here this evening. And you can certainly seek those positions out and learn about those candidates that way. Before we get started, I'd also like to mention and thank the church and Pastor Aarons for allowing us the venue this evening. But please bear in mind, of course, by taking everyone in, that's something they've done voluntarily, but it does burden the organization, the facility, and we're asking that you please consider to make a contribution to the church to defray the expenses that they incur as a result of allowing the organization and all of us here this evening. And there is an offering can out on the table that you pass by as you sign in this evening. One more important thing, we do have a flag. If everyone could please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to OCTAVE Chairman, for lack of a better phrase, Chuck Kais, who will introduce and explain the form.
Good evening, everybody. Hopefully, if you can't hear me, let me know. This mic, I've got to be really close. Okay. This evening's format is pretty simple. We're going to actually, though, ask that nobody do any applause until the end. And as the next point, we will start off with 30-second statements by each candidate. They'll be able to identify their name, say whatever they want in 30 seconds, and we do have a dual-phase countdown timer that will beep when your time is up. You'll be able to see it. Oh, hey, the mic is live. Great, thanks. We have 3 questions for certain from each candidate, and if we went with more time than we expected, we can have a 4th question. We will do. Each question will allow a 1-minute answer. Again, it will be time. I will choose as the moderator who will start off each rotation, and then for each subsequent question, we'll start off with a different person. At the end of the question and answer session, each candidate will be allowed to make a 2-minute closing statement. You can come to this lectern if you would like to make your speech, or you can stand at your table. The choice is yours. And yes, actually, one note, all the candidates who responded to the questionnaire are able to make the 2-minute closing statement, which I believe is everyone except for one person here.
It's ridiculous.
Sorry, Tom.
But I did respond to it, we knew that, and you guys said, okay, that's fine. You make your own rules up, you let the candidates make the rules up for the board.
Okay. Sorry, Tom. Okay. Okay, and also, for anyone who didn't get the questionnaire summary, which we presented out in back, we will post it on our website. And also on the Elginite, for those of you who are aware, there is a blog in Elgin called the Elginite. There is an extensive write-up explaining the nature of our questionnaire and our format, because we are doing an experiment here. It's something new for the city of Elgin. So for those who are interested in how we arrived at this format, there's plenty of detail for you to read there. Okay, we are also going to be videotaping this, and we hope to post this on YouTube so that anyone at a later point wants to view this, or the people who can't actually be here tonight will be able to gain benefit from tonight's experience. So, with no further ado, I would like to start off. Well, let's start here with Larry. If you want to stand for 30 seconds and introduce yourself.
Very good.
I'm Larry Wegman. My family and I moved here in 1980. I'm married to Sandy Wegman. I have 2 daughters, Penny and Lauren, and a 6-year-old granddaughter that has changed our lives. I was on the Elgin Land Use Commission in the 80s. I was a township trustee sometime after that, a Gil Borden Library trustee until a couple years ago, and
Okay, Terry?
We'll use this one, it's live. Good evening. For those who don't know who I am, I'm Terry Gavin. My wife Rose and I have lived in this part of Elgin for 22 years. We love this city. That's why we're still here. We have voted, both of us, in this building for national and state office. So the way I look at it tonight, this is a home game. So thanks for coming out tonight. Hope you learn where all the candidates stand on the issues. And if you would like, I'll be here after this is over.
Good evening, everyone. It's so good to see so many familiar faces out there and a lot of new faces. I realize that I'm a new face to many of you. My name is Cody Wolf, and I'm running to represent you on the City Council for the 4-year term. I'd like to thank the Elgin OCTAVE group for the invite out here tonight, and Chuck Kaiser, Jeffrey Meyer, and Elgin OCTAVE for putting this together. Thank you. Hi, my name's Andrew Cumming, and my wife and I have lived in Elgin since 2010, and we'll be here for the rest of our lives. And as such, we've seen a lot in Elgin that's great. It's an incredible city, but there's a lot that needs fixing. And that's why I'm here today, is to try to help make Elgin better. And I'm committed to talking with people, figuring out what needs to be done, and truly thinking about their problems and how to fix it as part of the city. And I pledge to be honest and open in all of these proceedings to everyone here.
Hi, my name's Tom McCarthy. I ran 2 years ago. You know what, the paper lied to me, they didn't know me. Now they're getting to know me. I watched the city council for 2 years. They claim we have a $13 million deficit. Cut all this spending. Okay, so we all got to live, kind of restrict our living, right? This city council kept spending money, $1.8 million in non-essential stuff. They gave half of the states $54,000 in that dog park. Who here belongs to that dog park? Raise your hand, right? Nobody. It's a total useless.
Tom, you're a very tough act to follow. I just want you to know that. Thank you for having all of us candidates here tonight, to Chuck and to the entire group. My name is Jason Newsbury. I'm the general manager at the Hampton Inn Hotel here in Elgin. I also sit on the board of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Elgin Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Running for the 2-year seat. Running because I want to use my personal and professional skills and experience to enhance our quality of life in Elgin. And time's up.
Good evening. My name is John Krieger. I've been your city councilman for the last 4 years, and tonight I'm out applying for the job now for the next 4 years. Tonight you're going to hear 3 things from me. Same thing you've heard in the last 4 years. Straight talk, direct answers, and at the end of every question and at the end of every forum going forward, you're going to know exactly where I stand. My family's been in Elgin for about 95 years, most of them 2 backyards away on Stewart Avenue, 862 and 866 Stewart. I'm anxious to talk to you. Very anxious to talk and hear from you tonight.
It's working, okay. My name is Carol Rauschenberger, and I'm glad to see that I don't have the longest name on the ballot here this year. You may know the name Rauschenberger from our family, who's also been in the community for many years. I'm currently on the Elgin Township, and at this moment would like to run for Elgin City Council. And I'm pretty bullish on Elgin and think it's a great place to live, and we have a little bit of work to do to go forward and have it be a great place.
I'm Craig Dressing. I'm running for City Council in part because my neighbors and my friends told me to get in the race and to use my background, my experience, my perspectives as a small business owner and as a senior leader for a $30 million healthcare organization, my perspectives on business and my ability to use common sense for common goals.
Hi, I'm Roy Chapman. I'm an Elgin resident for 15 years. I'm currently a project manager and engaged with Northern Trust downtown. I'm glad Chuck didn't go alphabetical, but it didn't help any, did it, Chuck? You're still stammering. I have an undergraduate degree in business administration as well as a 2-year technical degree in electronics. I've been in information technology all of my life, from the start of transistors to where we are now with smartphones and all that neat stuff. Thank you.
My name is Toby Shaw, and I'm running this year for the 2-year position for City Council. Elgin City Council needs more business experience. Its taxes are too high, its regulations are too thick, and we need more representation from our community. If I'm lucky enough to represent you on City Council, I have 3 promises. I will always work hard. I will always fight for you, the taxpayer, because I believe our taxes are too high at this point in time. And I will never stop listening to you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rosemary Kahn. I live in the Providence subdivision on the far west side of Elgin. You want me to get it closer?
Yeah, switch it on.
Oh. There's no one else.
Okay, keep trying.
Sorry.
Is the other mic on her table live?
There's no one else.
Maybe we need Roy with all of his
I
technology.
have a degree in running engineering. There's no on-off switch.
Let's talk loud.
I actually do. My name is Rosemary Kahn. I've lived in Elgin. I think my time's up.
Hold on. You got a fresh start.
It really doesn't like me.
Go. Oops.
Okay. I've lived in Elgin for the last 6 years. I moved here from Aurora. I've lived here in the area for my whole life. I grew up in Hoffman Estates. I've known Elgin since I've been a kid. I'm running to represent the far west side of Elgin and also to represent everyone here, and I hope that I can do that very well. I'm open to any questions, and I will be available to you if I am elected to get your opinions and find out what it is that what interests you for your term.
I got a working. Without a switch. Good evening, and thank you for coming out tonight. My name is Mike Tabraki, Big Mike Tabraki. I'm the 2-year candidate for City Council. I want to thank the pastor, and I want to thank Chuck. Chuck, you certainly know how to stimulate conversation in this town. And I'm glad to be part of it. 2013, I'm celebrating my 20th anniversary as an Elginite. Proud to be here. 26 years with my wife and my kids. Put 3 of them through school here. Love to be on the council. Have a lot to say and have a lot of positive things to do for this community.
Okay, thank you very much for your opening statements. Now we're going to move on to an important part, the questions. We're going to cover 3 topics very specifically. In the overview, we'll be covering taxes, spending, and business. Very broad topics, and there will be very broad questions. We're not loading this in any way. Candidates will have a chance to show what's important to them, how much they've studied, see what they know about. So, for this first question, it will be about taxes. Again, you will have, in 1 minute, you'll have 1 minute to answer these. So, in regards to taxes, of taxes that are of interest to you, whether you're mad about them or happy about them, whatever, of taxes, which taxes would you change and which taxes would you leave alone and why? In 1 minute. And we'll start with Andrew and work that way and cycle through that table and back to this.
I think taxes are a very interesting question for everyone right now. We're being overtaxed because the City Council is currently overspending. The best way to solve that is to cut unnecessary or change unnecessary taxes. I think the trash tax is an excellent example of something that needs to be changed. It started with a good idea. Reduce taxes on your tax bill and have everyone pay for a service that only some people use. Those people pay for that service, everyone else doesn't have to. But unfortunately, they messed up. You're being double charged on that tax. The trash tax is something that, great idea to start with, was done terribly wrong, needs to be fixed. We need to make sure the rainwater tax does not get enacted. It's a ridiculous extra expense that is funding a project that we already have funds for. There are a lot of things like the business license tax that it's driving business out of town. That's not something we can afford right now. So we are overpaying for all these varying taxes that we don't need. And what we need to do is go in and look at every single tax and say, why is this one here? Can we do without it? And for a lot of them, the answer is yes. A TIF district is something that we're paying for. Some people pay for it, some people don't, and no one is benefiting. And I think that's something that we all need to consider.
Hi, my name's Tom McCarthy. See, the problem with the city council is, oh, they're sweet, or who are they ever sweet? Okay? In fact, they're all from the county of Kane, and they're nicknamed the Candy King 7. Because you know why? They think they're smarter than you. So what they did was took the garbage collection bill off the property tax and tell you they lowered your property taxes. But they didn't tell you to take the garbage bill and put it on a water bill. It used to come every other month, now it's coming every month. It used to be $13 a month, it's $18 a month. And they don't look you right in the eyes and say, we lowered your property tax. What they did was make you pay $200 more a year in fees, surcharges, and so forth. And this has to stop. And they took in $2 million more than they needed last year. Are they thinking about giving it back? Oh no, they ain't giving it back. They're going to consider it upcoming year how we're going to give the money back to you. What they should do, and Perky suggested it, put it on the water bill. Give a credit on the water bill, and we get the money back instantly.
Well, taxes are pretty much hot on everyone's mind right now, I think. One of the reasons I got into this race is because I saw really a combination of how the spending was happening and then how the taxes were being poured on. And, you know, taxes are something that, you know, most of us, we agree that, you know, if it's for a right item and a right cause, it makes sense. We don't mind paying it. But, you know, this year there was, you know, discussion of property taxes reduced, but then there was, you know, 4 or 5 new taxes poured on. And what I would suggest to the current council, what I would have voted on if I was part of that council that made this decision, was to just scrap that plan altogether, go back to the drawing board, figure out where we can make cuts. And I don't mean cuts to core services. We know we need police, we need fire, we need public works, the salt the roads when it's icy out. But look at the spending and the cutting first before the taxes.
Taxes I would change. Put garbage back on the property tax bill where you can still deduct it off of your taxes on income taxes. It has nothing to do with water. That's the tax I would change. The 2 taxes I would also change as well. Take the skim tax off your thermostat. Every time you touch your thermostat for electricity or for gas, summer or winter, you're coughing up money to us. And we have nothing to do with delivering those services to you. It's just something we could have, and we did, latch on to. Taxes I would leave alone, I did vote to raise the sales tax, 1/2 of 1%. I also voted for the 3% alcohol tax. Those are the only two taxes in the last two budgets that out-of-town people could pay into our kitty. Everything else is borne on you. If a guy wants to buy a six-pack, he pays into our kitty and takes it home to South Elgin. Same thing goes with our sales tax. Those are the taxes I would change. Those are the taxes I would keep the same.
I'm personally in favor of diversification of our taxes. I think years ago when they first started taxing in communities, land was equal to wealth, and so that's how they taxed. But today we cannot just rely on property tax. I don't want my property tax to be the only way taxed. And I think the other taxes, though I can't say that I would be for exactly everyone, but I think when they're taxed on use, that means that everybody is using, being taxed on what they're using. So if you're using less, you're taxed less. If you're using more, you're taxed more. And I think that is fair. And I think it is good to diversify for liquor tax, for example, and a little bit of sales tax, because it does bring taxes in from people that don't own property. They're sharing into the burden of being in Elgin, or people that work in Elgin and live outside Elgin. So I personally am for diversification. I would take away the business, that small business tax.
Well, I certainly am not interested in raising taxes or would not support that. I've noticed, though, serving as a commissioner for the city of Elgin, that there's a lack of coordination and communication among the resources that the city already has. So I would be very interested in looking at better coordination of the resources so that we don't have to even consider raising taxes on certain things. Like Carol, I would support eliminating the small business tax. Small businesses are struggling right now. I think we need to create a user-friendly environment for not just small business, but for all business. And I also would be in favor of eliminating the garbage tax.
Roy Chapman. I'm in favor of reducing taxes and less government involvement. The liquor tax doesn't bother me so much, but the shifting of taxes into services and fees bothers me. It helps, it prevents us from tracking the true cost to the government. And I don't like that. I also don't like the fact that taxes were increased during these economic times. The city should back off and let us keep as much money as we can. So less government, less taxes, and that's what I told the Finance Committee. I told that to them, the Budget Task Force, as well as the Elgin City Council. So that's it for me. You've got 15 seconds left.
First of all, let's look one on the list. Property tax, sales tax, income tax, liquor tax, utility tax, gas and electric, telecommunications tax, garbage tax, and a business tax. I think we have too much taxes. That's pretty straightforward. I am very serious about worried about diversification. Diversification to me means hiding more taxes where we don't know where they're being coming from, and people aren't familiar and don't know how to track overall, how much they're actually giving to the city to spend. It's a way for taxes to ebb and flow without City Hall being responsible for what they had and what they should be responsible for. We need to have council members who are good stewards of their tax dollars. Having so many tax funds that fluctuate over time does not force them to be good stewards of those tax dollars. I am for going back to being property tax focused. I am for keeping the liquor tax. I am for reducing the garbage tax.
Taxes. We all have taxes and we all don't like paying taxes. However, taxes are what we use, the municipality uses for core services that are important to us. I don't believe in raising taxes in the current situation that we're in. Nobody has extra money. So what I believe is the additional taxes that have been put upon us, the garbage tax, there's a tax on electric, there's tax on the phone, there's possibly going to be a rain tax. I don't believe that those are appropriate ways to get our economy flowing, and I didn't see the City Council working to consolidate their spending and to reduce their spending like we're all doing in our own homes. So I would recommend being part of the city council if I was, to look at what our services is, look at what we're spending our money on, and be more conservative in that.
I think I'm going to take a little different approach here. I think the existing city council should get an A for creativity. Maybe a D or an F for execution, but an A for creativity. Taxing the rainwater, that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And one of the things that no one has said here tonight is, when we talk about taxing people, we talk about taxing retirees. When you're on a fixed income, you can't afford to have these nebulous taxes come at you, because you know what? You have a set amount of money. Blue Cross Blue Shield, Medicare, all this stuff comes up. Half of your money's going to go for medical. And now you're going to put another tax on garbage and trash. If you're already paying a real estate tax, leave the trash in there, leave the street stuff in there. It's predictable. So I'm for paying for what we need, paying for what we do, but using it smartly. You folks have judged and say, you don't like what you see, put people in there that are going to listen to what you're saying and have creativity and do things for you.
Larry?
I would like to respond to this from the standpoint of the questionnaire we received. When it comes to taxes, a lot is done with structure, and we have relied upon property tax as long as I can remember. And for decades, we've been trying to get all of the governing agencies to get away from real estate taxes as much as possible. Now it's being done, and we have to work the bugs out of it. Now, it's going to take a while. It's a trial and error thing, and everybody feels uncomfortable with it. We all feel like we're having to pay too much. And there may be some truth in that, but you have to understand how big and complicated the city of Elgin really is. And I think a lot of these people are giving it their best.
Okay, this is my favorite subject along with city spending. As a former councilman from 1995 to 1999, I was awarded the title by the Daily Herald as the taxpayer's watchdog. That was earned because they did not support me. There are a number of taxes here. The refuse tax has already been said here is a double tax. They told us it would be an even swap. It is not. It needs to be repealed. The sales tax, I'm okay with the sales tax for reasons already given. The liquor tax, I'm okay with that too, but it is high on those businesses because they have no way to exchange that when surrounding communities are not charging that. The utility tax, that city has no right to charge us that utility tax. And by the way, the term revenue diversification, and I've been to almost every meeting for 2 years, is not equal. We're being overtaxed. The business license needs to be repealed. The telecommunications tax needs to be repealed too. And I will talk about this more later. Thank you. No rain.
Well put, Terry. So we all know the first and foremost reason for a government is to defend its citizens. We defend our citizens here in Elgin through our police and fire departments. We support the fire departments and police departments through taxes. Now, that said, there are a lot of taxes that are unnecessary to the people. When we have so many taxes that increases to a surplus within the city of Elgin, that is a gross overreach of government. And they're reaching into your pockets for it. The liquor and the sales tax, with regards to that, I do agree that those are necessary taxes. Those are what we need for certain areas. And this council has added $21 million they've added $21 million of new taxes this year with the other taxes. Thank you.